I heard about the award, I was like, I want to win that. So I was lucky enough for my last year of playing the Baseball Alberta. I was fortunate enough to end up getting it, so it was a dream come true for sure.
Welcome to episode 363 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland, and this is another special edition of the show as we take a look back at last weekend's Baseball Alberta annual general meeting and awards banquet. It was a packed house at the Wyndham Edmonton Hotel and Conference Centre as the best of the year was celebrated. From players and coaches to volunteers and organizations, it was great to hear all of the success stories from 2025 and look ahead to what's to come in 2026. President Jon Oko opened up the festivities, telling the crowd that it was, quote, a record-setting year with 18,868 players registering in Baseball Alberta, the most ever. It was also the most teams to ever take part with 332, while the number of coaches and umpires also increased from 2024. He said baseball in Alberta is alive, thriving, and just getting warmed up. We'll hear from Oko a little later on in the show. Then it was on to the awards, which we've prepared a full recap and list of awards, as we always do, at albertadugoutstories.com. We'll start with female programs, which were booming again with talent. The Baseball Alberta Girls League saw new teams at the 12U and 14U levels, helping provide a pipeline for the older teams down the road. We had the 16U team take home silver at the Canada Summer Games, and one of the big winners on the night was Calgary's Julianna Scott, who was named the Women's Open Player of the Year and the Doris Taylor Scholarship winner. She's at university out east and was unable to attend, but I caught up with her on the phone to talk about the awards and what it means to be recognized as the best in her home province. Julianna, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's start here. Julianna Scott, Baseball Alberta Women's Player of the Year. How does that sound?
It's crazy. It sounds so crazy.
What went through your mind when you first found out that you were winning the award?
A lot. It's been a roller coaster of a year. I got hurt at the end of June, and leaving Quebec like 3 days before 19U, I wasn't even sure if I was going to play at Nationals. So yeah, it was a lot.
Talk us through the injury and what happened and how you were able to play through that and do as well as you did at Nationals.
So I hurt my UCL just making a throw down to second. I didn't fully tear it though, so I could continue playing. However, I played the playoffs for the Canada East League where I play in Quebec, and I was like on the airplane coming home, and I like couldn't squeeze my thumb and ring finger together. My elbow was throbbing. It was all kind of falling apart there. So I remember I was sitting down with my parents at like the dinner table, and I was like, well, what do I do? Like, I can't miss Nationals. And it was kind of silent because everybody, like, we all knew that I couldn't miss it, but also, like, I probably couldn't catch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go into Nationals and you want to be the best you can and help your team. And if I was to catch, I probably couldn't do that. So I remember I ran up to my brother's room and I was, like, crying. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And he, like, dropped everything. He's like, we're going to figure this out. We'll figure it out together. So we go downstairs and it's, like, it's silent now. And he finally goes, why don't you play first base? He played first base and pitched when he played. So he's like, I can teach you, like, you can use my glove. We'll figure it out. And so, yeah, he threw me picks for like 2 days. He worked me through positioning on the base. I give a lot of credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. What was it like? How foreign maybe was it when you step out onto the field and actually go, okay, I guess I'm going to have to do this now for the next couple of days here?
Oh, it was crazy. I was just hoping with a little bit of baseball IQ and some athleticism, I would figure it out. I didn't want to hurt the team. I said, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to do everything I can to help the team. And it was definitely foreign, but I'm really glad I did it.
On the hitting side, was it an injury that impacted you at all, or were you able to work through that?
No, hitting wise, it didn't really affect me. So that was nice. That was definitely a benefit.
So looking back on that particular performance, how happy were you with it?
Oh, I was so happy. I don't think I've ever hit so well in my life. Every time after the games, I'd go to my parents and I was like, I don't know where I pulled that barrel out of. And they just laughed.
Unbelievable. When you look back on the year that was, just in its entirety, what was key to your success that allowed you to, at the end of it, call yourself the Baseball Alberta Women's Player of the Year?
I think just kind of having patience with myself. When like you hurt your elbow as a catcher, there's not much you can do. So just kind of understanding that like, hey, there's only so much I can do. So let's do the stuff that I can do well.
From a team perspective, I know you probably wanted to come home with a few more medals, but at the same time, I look at these rosters and think to myself, they have some pretty young squads and some really up and coming talent, yourself included there. How excited are you about the future of this core group, and what makes this group so special in your eyes?
Oh, I'm really excited. I think the group, we're young. This group's going to be special because of the chemistry we built. I've played with like Claire Hangley, Sydney Klebanowski since U16. And I think having them move into the women's division will be just chemistry is a big part of these tournaments. They're so short and they're so small that you need to know where your players are, what they're doing, what their tendencies are really fast. So I'm excited for the group to grow together and hopefully we have more success in the coming years.
Absolutely. The award isn't the only thing you're going home with after that awards ceremony. You received the Doris Taylor Scholarship as well. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, it meant a lot. I think being an athlete, there's a lot that gets missed on the school side. So kind of receiving that scholarship really put it into perspective of how much school does mean. I mean, at least for me, I'm in my second year as a biochemistry major and I'm really busy and costs add up. So it's really helpful for sure.
Absolutely. Let's talk about bishops for a second. You mentioned biochemistry. How did you get into that side of things first off? And what's the end goal there? Like, what would you like to be doing, assuming that you're not on a baseball field as a pro? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what's the game plan with the biochem side?
So I got into it again because of my brother. He's a mechanical engineer studying that at the University of Calgary. So he kind of was like, well, you like biology, you like chemistry, like why don't you just mix the two and go for it? And I enjoyed it. Like I'm still enjoying it. I'm going for pharmaceuticals as the end goal. So I'd like to design different drugs and different kind of like my end goal here is I'd like to create an energy drink that's good for athletes too. Because I got drug tested at nationals this summer and I realized how many things there are that we can't take.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to explore pharmaceuticals on the athlete side of things too.
That is super cool and so wide ranging too with the impact. So congratulations and kudos to you on chasing that dream on the side of also playing baseball. And so when you look ahead to 2026, aside from getting yourself healthy and ready to go for the year, what's on your to-do list this offseason to make sure you're best prepared heading into the new year?
I think just getting stronger, getting faster, and getting myself healthy is going to be the big thing. I don't want to get hurt at all next year. Not that you ever want to get hurt, but I'd like to go into this season 2026 injury free and ready to compete.
Do you have any expectations of yourself as far as who you're playing for? Like you mentioned Quebec, are you going back there? Do you have expectations as far as Team Alberta, Team Canada? What's sort of the goal and aspiration that side that way?
Yeah, I'm going to be back in Quebec playing again. I have a really good group of friends here that I'm going to stick with. As for Team Alberta, Team Canada, I think I'm going to come back to Team Alberta as soon as nationals come. And the end goal is Team Canada. I'd love to wear a maple leaf and represent my family and all the hard work that I've done. So I think that's the end goal for this summer, and hopefully we can get there.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And on top of that, we're fresh off of, in the last couple of days here, the Women's Pro Baseball League draft. I know you've got a few friends who had their names called over the last couple of days as well. How cool was it to see that all play out the way it has?
Yeah, it's super exciting. It finally gives women a path in baseball if they want to follow it. It gives us people to look up to. It gives us a dream to pursue. So I'm super excited.
Mm-hmm. On the personal side of things, watching somebody like Madison or somebody like Sydney that you've known for a while here, how cool was that to see some familiar names there?
Oh, it was great. I texted Sudbury right after and was like, that's amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm super happy for her and going to continue to follow what she's done. Along with Maddie Will. I'm really happy for them both.
Is that something that's on your radar now? Like, hey, you know what? This is something that I can maybe chase in the not too distant future?
Definitely, definitely. As of right now, I have my sights set on the national team, the World Baseball Cup, and finishing my undergrad. But once my undergrad's done, I think my attention will turn to pro baseball for sure.
Fantastic stuff. Final question for you before we let you go, Julianna. How are you going to remember 2025? And beyond that, what are you looking forward to most in 2026?
I'm gonna remember a lot of my teammates in 2025. I had a lot of really good teammates, a lot of really good connections. going into 2026, I want to win a little bit more. I love to win, and I'd like to come home with a medal.
Well, you've certainly done that, and you've also done that from a personal perspective and hopefully for a team perspective as well. Julianna, congratulations on all the success you had this year. Congrats on the comeback as well from injury. Best of luck going forward in 2026 and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
We'll head to the Baseball Alberta Elite League next, which saw another solid year of competition. The circuit was created to provide an opportunity for the best 18U teams in the province to battle it out, with the St. Albert Cardinals bringing home the crown this year. One of St. Albert's keys to success was infielder Carter Moffat, who was named the BAEL Player of the Year and a Ron Hayter bursary recipient. He's now at school with the University of Fraser Valley, so we'll see him when the Cascades roll through Alberta in the CCBC next spring.
Carter, first off, congratulations. Let's start off here. Carter Moffat, 2025 BAEL MVP. How does that sound?
Sounds awesome. I can't really describe it right now, but it's pretty cool.
What went through your mind when you first found out?
I don't even know. It's just exciting. I don't know how to describe it.
What was it about the year in your eyes that really stood out?
Mostly just how close I was with everybody and am. But we're just a good group of guys who I loved every moment with. So.
Absolutely. From a personal perspective, especially that team, I mean, you guys go and win a provincial championship in the process. What was so special about that group that really made you guys believe you could take it all?
Well, I've been playing with most of those guys for a couple of years at this point, either in the season or in the off season developing. But so there's always kind of a bond there. But even with some of the new guys, they just kind of bought into the team and wanted to be there for the rest of the guys.
As a guy who's been basically a lifer in that program for as long as you have, it's got to be pretty special to see it go from, you know, the young kid day to championship, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm proud to be where I am. Proud to have done what I've done. I'm glad with the decisions I've made.
Let's talk about the decisions coming up. Obviously, you've had a couple of months now in college. How's life at UFE?
It's good. It's really fun. It's a good group of guys so far. Look forward to getting to know them a little bit better, but it's been good so far.
You got a bit of a tradition of excellence going on down there as well. I know they won a championship a couple of years ago. What are you hoping to bring to the table with that squad?
I'm looking, just want to keep it going. I don't want to stop the momentum. I want to be part of some good teams.
Absolutely. A couple more before we let you go. First off, when you look back at 2025, what are you going to remember it most for?
I mean, just the fun times. It's good to be around all those guys, all the laughs, all the ups and downs that we had. It was just a good group of guys.
Fantastic. And finally, one we ask everybody, what's the game of baseball mean to you?
It's everything. I mean, it's been my life for the past 10 years. It's treated me well. It's treated me bad sometimes, but it's been good.
It's been very good to you, Carter. Congratulations on the award, the scholarship as well. Continued success in 2026, and thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And the final athlete we caught up with at the event was the 18U AAA Player of the Year, Aubrey Stender of the Calgary Cardinals, a product of Strathmore and Going Yard Academy in Saskatoon. He might have also taken home the best dressed of the night with an outstanding custom-made jacket. He has started his post-secondary studies at Williston State College, but was more than happy to come home and celebrate for a little while.
Aubrey, first off, congratulations. Let's start here. Aubrey Stender, 2025 18U AAA Player of the Year. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty good. Like, ever since I started U18, or just U18 baseball in general, and I heard about the award, I was like, I want to win that. So I was lucky enough for my last year of playing the Baseball Alberta. I was fortunate enough to end up getting it, so it was a dream come true for sure.
What went through your mind when you first found out?
Well, I was in college, and I was kind of like, this is not very fun right now. And then my mom and dad gave me the call, and I was like, Oh, that definitely perks up the spirits, so that's for sure. So
a little bit of a home-cooked meal never hurt anybody for a trip back home, right?
Yeah. I came back 2 weeks early to make sure my suit fits and my hair was good. So.
And you're looking spectacular,
Awesome.
by the way. Is that an old jacket or is that
No, I
something
got
new?
it for grad, and it's got my teams.
Oh,
and my,
look at that!
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
Yeah, so.
Walk us through the year. What was working for you? What really stood out for you?
The bat was definitely working for me. So I had, I think, 9 home runs, and I had a 436 batting average, and it was just an all-around. And pitching was great too. Like I think, the most dominant I've ever been. So it was good. It led me. This year led me to going to college. Mm-hmm. So I got my spot in Williston, North Dakota for the Tetons, and it's been smooth sailing from there. So
talk a little bit about that in a second.
Okay.
But were you just seeing the ball really well this year? What was it that kind of stood out to you that made you go, I'm gonna hit the sod off this baseball?
Well, it was kind of after I figured out how to hit the curveball, then stuff started happening. So seeing the ball was mainly the icing on the cake for me this year. So
absolutely. Let's talk about Williston. How's it going so far?
It's good. We got finished fall ball, and we just traveled around. We went to Minot and Bismarck, and we played the teams there. I don't remember what division they are. And it's been going good. I have been offered a spot on the spring team. Hopefully, I keep it. So we'll see how this winter goes. So it's gonna be a hard battle, but I'm looking forward to it. So.
Well, there's a lot of guys from around this neck of the woods that know Williston well, right?
Yeah,
so you know you can play at that level.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's there's a few guys from Stettler and Calgary, and I plan to compete as much as I can to make sure I'm the best in Alberta from on that side of things. So.
Looking ahead, it's kind of off-season-ish. What are you working on to make sure you're hitting the ground running in 26?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm kind of a tunnel vision right now, so I'm kind of just getting through this year, seeing what's going to open up next year, and then whatever happens. So
for sure. Looking back on 2025, is there a moment or a memory that's going to stand out for you?
I hit 5 home runs in a weekend. That was the best one, I think. So
it's a pretty darn good one, I gotta say.
So yeah.
Did it feel kind of surreal doing that?
Yeah, we had the announcer was like, another one, and then it was kind of just. It was at the point of I was just sprinting around the bases so we could get the game going. So it was a memorable thing. I'll definitely remember it for a while. So
absolutely. Final one before we let you get back to family and friends here. What's game of baseball mean to you?
It's not a game, it's a way of life. It's like I've been playing baseball and hockey for most of my life, and baseball is just the one that spoke the most. And it's not like a thing where you just start and go. It's a thing. If you're in it for the long run. So I plan on pursuing it as far as I can, and wherever that goes, I don't know, but I sure hope it goes far. So.
Off to a good start with a pretty nice award
at
the end of the night tonight. So, Aubrey, congratulations on the award. Congratulations on all the success to this point. Continued success in 2026. And
awesome.
Thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you.
Our final guest on the show this week is the aforementioned Baseball Alberta president, Jon Oko. He's excited about where the game is today, especially finally bouncing back from the pandemic numbers-wise. Oko says athletes see the pipeline from Alberta to post-secondary schools and beyond, even realizing their pro dreams. And the talent is coming from every corner of the province, which is something he wants to see heading into 2026, although he does see some good challenges to have coming on the horizon.
Jon Oko, first off, congratulations on the year that's been for you in Baseball Alberta. When you look back on it, what are you going to remember it for?
Well, that's a great question. What are we going to remember it for? You know what? It was just another good, solid season. With growth throughout all levels, from our rally cap all the way up to 18U and Bale. I just, when we look back on 2025, it's a tough question because nothing really stands out significantly, but it was just another solid year of great baseball, growth throughout the province at all these different levels, and really. It's more about what's coming in 2026. Mm-hmm. And where I see 2026 is, with the Blue Jays and the success that they had this year, I'm excited, but I'm also kind of worried about 2026 with, are we going to be able to, our associations and everyone going to be able to absorb, I think, the demand that's going to be there to play the game and to, put their kids into the sport and so on and so forth. Like, the excitement is going to build and it's going to grow, and it's, I just don't know if hopefully all of our associations are ready for that influx that's going to come.
For sure. You mentioned a number, interestingly, during your preamble at the beginning of the program today. 18,000 plus kids were involved in baseball in 2025. When you think about that number, what strikes you the most about it?
Well, what strikes me the most is, we thought at 17,000, or in around that number, like, we already had heard the issues with respect to, infrastructure. So enough diamonds, enough, availability of umpires, which is always the case. It doesn't matter if you have 17,000, 18,000, 12,000, whatever. But, we thought, last year, last few years leading up to this, at 17,000, we had heard the rumblings, hey, you know what, there's just not enough facilities, especially in the larger cities. And to get to 18,000 now, it's like, okay, now, we're going to somewhere see a significant, at some point there's got to be some reckoning with, we just do not have the infrastructure that's going to support this. But we seem to manage. We're inching closer to 20,000, which would be excellent. I think we were close a few years ago. Pandemic shut everything down, and we kind of built from there. It's nice to get back there, but what I worry about is as we continue to grow here, I can see us surpassing 20,000 next year. And, do we have enough? Are our associations ready for that influx? Do we have enough facilities, fields, especially in the larger centers to accommodate, as we get to 19,000, 20,000 and beyond?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. We talked about on a night like tonight, you get to honor some of the people behind the scenes, some of the people who are front and center in a lot of those associations, whether they be the small ones like Irma or the big ones like Fort McMurray. I mean, you got to be pretty heartened by how the communities do come together and have done as best they can to really put on a world-class performance year after year.
Yeah, I mean, this year we had 7 new associations join, so we're up to 122 member associations. For a lot of years we were, 94, 98, 102, like in that range. So the last year or two we've seen new associations come on board. Sometimes when, you got to sit back and you got to look and you got to think where's baseball being played? And you start to realize that it's not just the big cities. It's not just the larger urban areas. But, that baseball in Irma or in Wassetna or in Bow Island or, Rycroft and everywhere in between, there's a lot that is out there. And, the sport is truly a provincial sport. We are not concentrated in, one specific area or just in the large centers or whatever. When you look at our awards banquet tonight, we recognize people from all across the province, from our smallest associations right up to our largest associations, from Zone 1 to Zone 8, everyone in between. There's a lot of good stuff that happens throughout the province. Without both our large and our small associations, we wouldn't be at the numbers we're at, and we wouldn't be as successful as we are, and baseball itself wouldn't thrive like it does. So, kind of hats off to everyone involved in the sport, no matter where they are, what association they're with, big, small, it doesn't matter. The work is the same and the dedication is the same, and the impact I would hope is the same for everyone that's playing and involved.
Speaking of, let's talk about 2 initiatives that have really kind of felt like they've taken off in the last couple of years. The Baseball Alberta Elite League. How excited are you about how this thing has kind of taken on a life of its own since its formation a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think a number, 5-6 years ago, or just coming out of the pandemic, we kind of looked at that level and thought, okay, well, we got to make this kind of the premier division and the place that the 18U players want to play, and it was trying to maybe take it out of kind of the traditional realm of kind of all association based and everything, and really truly put it as the pinnacle. So it is exciting to see how it's morphed into now an elite league that players and coaches and scouts and whoever has looked towards as being a product that is bringing the best kids together in a league that is so well structured, but is really showcasing and where the best athletes are playing. So it is exciting. It would be nice to obviously continue to grow that and to have I think we're up 10 teams now, 12, 14 teams, whatever the case may be. But it's again when you start something, you just don't know what direction necessarily it's going to take off, and is it going to be the same old? Is it going to grow? Is this going to be stagnant? Whatever. It is nice to see that everyone's kind of bought into this, bought into the concept, and teams and associations and whatnot are they're thinking about the bigger picture now, and they're thinking about is this impactful for the kids that play in the league, and how do we make it that much better? And each year it seems to be more and more in terms of improvements and how things can be better so that we are truly showcasing and using the talent within the league is able to play at the highest level.
The other one, the Baseball Alberta Girls League. Not just getting to recognize some of the stars of tomorrow here today, but some great programs are coming on board after the first couple, and now they've got something to maybe look ahead to as well, with Sydney Berry's in attendance as an example. Talk about the impact of the girls game and what you're seeing with that league, but also from the game as a whole across this province.
Yeah, I mean, girls baseball has always been a focus, but and it's if it weren't for the work of Barb Northcott, Chris James, and there's a number of others, but I mean those two come to mind. Just in terms of trying to showcase and highlight the game. Before pre-pandemic, we had girls teams, we had girls provincial teams. Now we're at a stage where we have a 19U team, provincial team, a 16U provincial team, a 14U team that goes to Westerns. The Women's Open is still an event that we will support if there's enough females that want to play. But it's not even just the fact that we have those teams. It's that when we send those teams to nationals, they're like nationals and Westerns, I should say. They're successful. 16 new girls, silver medalists at Canada Summer Games, the first ever female event at the Canada Games for baseball. And you're right. The Sydney Berries and Madison. Now this new professional women's league. Being drafted, like total feather in the cap. But it also follows. The Nicole Lachanskys that represented Canada for so many years on the women's national team. Like female baseball. We're seeing, which is great, more and more females entering our sport and playing in our local associations, and having the dream and the goal of making a provincial team or making the women's national team, and it's exciting, and I think having the new professional women's league and having girls like Sydney and Madison, role models that these young ladies can look up to. I think it's just going to help further the growth in that sector, and we are all so excited about not only them, but then what's in store for the future, and just continue to grow the sport amongst the females that we have in this province that want to play baseball, not just stick to softball or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. Final one for you before we let you go, John. Looking ahead to 2026, what excites you the most about what's to come?
What excites me the most? We sit back, we have this wonderful evening tonight, and we go through and we award and recognize so many great, athletes, coaches, umpires, volunteers, and I guess I sit back and I look, where we've been, where we've come from, and we're recognizing so many people now. What excites me is that we are still on that growth track. So, obviously the Toronto Blue Jays have helped kind of raise the profile of baseball. Little worried about, like I said, do we have enough infrastructure, throughout the province, throughout our associations to handle what I perceive or what I feel is going to be a great influx. But it's just, the continued growth and the continued, more kids playing, which brings more coaches, more umpires, and just, continuing to put baseball as kind of one of those, the sport to want to be involved with. What excites me about 2026 is just, we're continuing on the path of upward momentum and not on a path of, boy, I hope we can keep kids, interested in our sport, and how do we do that? It's the opposite. It's how are we going to accommodate the number of kids that we know are excited about baseball and want to play baseball. It's exciting in that regard. It's also a challenge, but it's better to have that type of challenge than, how do we even get people into the sport? So 2026, really excited about both the potential and, just continuing to see the sport grow and expand.
Couldn't agree more, John. Well, congratulations on an outstanding evening. Congratulations on an outstanding 2025. All the best in 2026. And thanks again for joining us here on the show.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks again to Julianna Scott, Carter Moffat, Aubrey Stender, and Jon Oko for joining us this week. And congratulations again to all of the winners of Baseball Alberta awards and recognitions last weekend. Thanks as well to the brass at Baseball Alberta for having us and being so accommodating. Again, for a full rundown of the event and list of winners, head to albertadugoutstories.com. We'll get back to our regular scheduled Thursday release date next week with another episode of the show, plus a couple more to wrap up the 2025 season, so make sure to hit subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. A tip of the cap, as always, to our platinum supporters, the Okotoks Dogs, Under the Light Sports and Entertainment, and the Western Canadian Baseball League for their continued generosity in helping us tell the game stories in our province. For more on our tremendous teammates or to get involved with your organization, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.